Welcome to the Hank Cisco Show, ladies and gentlemen. Don't touch that remote. Got a great show. I got a little bit of a cold, so I wore a red tie today, so distract. That way you'll look at my tie, and you won't be watching me pattern my nose a little bit. So I got a little bit of a cold, but I'm fighting it back and forth, you know, Tylenol and whatever else. Now, my guest today, as you know, I'm a former policeman, county detective, and all, and it's always a pleasure for me to interview law enforcement men. Now, you know, there are different levels of law enforcement and investigation. It's so important. Investigation is the most important part of police work. You know, it's the same thing. The first guy on the scene of the crime is to protect that evidence. I think maybe that football player that got in trouble with killing a couple people, what happened there? There was blood all over the place, and the first police officers on the job were stepping all over the evidence. You know, I think that had a lot to do with losing the case, but that's something else. So we're going to talk to a top investigator. He's been around a lot of corners, and I want to meet Don Benn.
Hank, how are you?
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I got a lot of questions here for you, but you just ramble on and tell me now what it's all about, you, what you do as far as investigation. Who are you? What do you do?
Well, Hank, as you know, I'm Don Benn. I'm a licensed private investigator here in Montgomery County.
All right, a licensed investigator. Now, is that a state job or what?
You're licensed by the county, so I am a private detective.
Yeah, in Montgomery County.
Yes, but we still fall under state laws.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I specialize in two areas of investigation. I specialize in human trafficking investigations.
What's that?
Human trafficking.
What's that?
That's labor, that's sex crimes, that's the dirty part of America.
Yeah.
I also specialize...
Well, somebody's got to do it.
Hey, nobody should do it. It shouldn't
right,
be there.
Well,
I also specialize in domestic abuse cases.
Right,
I do
that's
those
important
kind of
today.
investigations.
Yeah.
But I'm not here to talk about either of those today.
No.
I'm here to talk about what I do at the company I work for.
Okay.
Echelon Protective Services.
Okay.
And there we have a dignitary and VIP and celebrity protection detail. And I'm part of the celebrity and dignitary and VIP
In other words,
protection detail.
you protect people that, celebrities that come in?
Celebrities, politicians, heads of state, Fortune 500, CEOs, big shots.
Oh, yeah.
You've done that, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, protect, but I did on a different, when Kennedy was campaigning, he came to Norristown, I was driving the emergency wagon with the loudspeaker and all, and we were escorting him into Norristown, but he had all the Secret Service and everybody around him, you know, the Philadelphia police motorcycles were coming in from Philadelphia all the way around, you know, and we just played a part of it, you know, but the investigators are the ones that are state and federal guys, you know. Now, something about you, I want to just say that you got so many degrees, this, that, I don't want to say his resume or anything. I said one guy has so many degrees, they call him kid thermometer. So I don't want to do that. I don't waste any time on that. You have your education. What kind of training you get for that?
I'll tell you, the training to become an executive protection agent is long and it's hard, but the training you need in order to train is even harder. Our guys are either ex-military, they're ex-police.
What do you mean, the teachers?
The instructors and the fellows we work with. They're either, like I said, ex-law enforcement, ex-military,
right,
or they're guys who came from security where they've been doing security so long and such important security that we can really depend on them.
Yeah. All right, now, how about women? Women get involved in this investigating?
Yeah, one of my flaws is I say guys when I mean people. We have men, we have women. Our squad is white folks, black folks,
right,
Hispanic, younger,
you
older.
have to learn the language, you know, right, especially if you're going to be undercover.
Well, we try not to be undercover, but we don't try to be obvious either.
Yeah, no, right, you got to get
you got to blend in.
Yeah, you don't wear a uniform or anything?
No, we wear suit and ties.
Right.
We deal with executives. We deal with important people.
You as an investigator, your company, somebody needs has a problem. What are some of the problems that they come and ask you about?
Well, the company in general will have problems where an investigator will come in, and on a low level, it'll be the stuff you hear about on TV. I think my husband's cheating on me. I think my wife is cheating on me. But we don't do a lot of that. We focus on high-end investigations, terminations, background investigations, industrial investigations. And for our VIP and our celebrity protection, we investigate threat assessments. We want to know if somebody is after the people. We want to know if there's a real threat or if it's an imagined threat or if they just want to feel safer.
Yeah. I know different celebrities, movie actors and all, they always have somebody, private investigators, and they have just about everything protecting them, you know.
Well, we've worked with movie stars, we've worked with TV stars, we've worked with sports stars, we've worked with politicians, we've worked with business guys, and they always have their own person.
Yeah.
But when they travel to a different city, they have to get folks in that city
that
who know the
something about
territory.
it.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Well, I see your point. In other words, they have their regular people that travel with them, but when they go to another city, another state, they have to coordinate
get the
their,
locals.
yeah. So, well, how about now? How do you get along with the local police when you're involved in something? You get you're making an investigation, all of a sudden you find out as, you know, big thing starts very small, a little bit of a thing.
The one thing that we never want to do is leave the police out in the cold.
Right.
Law enforcement has to know where we are, who we are, and what we're doing. If I have a case, and I had a case recently where I had to keep eyes on a kid to make sure that one of the parents didn't kidnap him.
Oh, yeah.
When the kid went to the playground, I was in the car. And I'm watching the kid through binoculars.
Yeah, like in the movies.
Yeah. And if I didn't tell the police in advance that I was there, the police would say, who's this old
guy
guy?
look like you're a molester.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It makes sense. Yeah.
Also, when we do big details, and we have 3 SUVs, and we have 10 guys in black suits and sunglasses
Right.
and guns, you certainly
You
want
carry
to...
a gun?
If
You have a
we-
permit to carry a gun?
Yes, we're all trained. We're all
Yeah.
highly trained. We practice. We train. If we don't tell the police, nothing good can happen.
Right. Well, I can see where celebrities need someone to protect them or to, because I know I was the stablemate of Rocky Marciano, and I was with Frank Rizzo, and some people really go over there, they just start grabbing their clothes, they got this. When Kennedy came to Norristown, and I picked him up, escort in Bridgeport, and they stopped at the Valley Forge Hotel. His hand was swollen and red because people were shaking hands with him, and he had to put his hand in ice water. And then we drove him, after he stopped there for a little refreshment and all, went to Roosevelt Field where there was about 8,000 people waiting there for him, And another thing on celebrities, Sonny and Cher, they were going to be at the Valley Forge Theater. No, the Valley
Music Fair.
Yeah, music fair. And but I knew the people that used to drive, pick them up. What do you call it?
The chauffeurs.
What do you call it?
The chauffeurs?
Yeah. Well, they had to go pick them up at the airport and take them to the hotel. So the owner says, I want you to wear a tuxedo and get dressed, and I want you to look good because you're going to pick up Sonny and Cher. They got all dressed up, they drove. Sonny and Cher going, they had all dungarees, ripped up jackets and everything.
Well, that's the thing. The client can look however the client wants to look like, but you have to look like a professional.
Yeah, you look professional, but your celebrities come in and look like a bums, So, but all right, so, who pays you? The company?
Well,
You get paid hourly, or the case you're at, or what?
I don't think that's really the important part. We get paid very well. The celebrity pays the company.
No, but I mean,
or the
you get paid by the hour to get a case. They put you on a case.
We get paid by the job.
And by the hour?
You can break it down into hourly, but sometimes a job may go for just 1 hour. You're not just paid 1 hour's worth of work. You're paid for the job.
Well, I'm saying he's here because maybe there's some students here that want to take up law enforcement. You know, they have constables, you got the FBI, you got the treasury men, you got the state police, you got the, you know, all these different levels, sheriffs, local police, and the local police have the detective, juvenile division, you know, so it's always a breakdown, right? So you're in between.
We're on the side. We're not even in between.
No.
We're tangential. We travel the same paths, but we don't travel in the same direction.
No, but if you bump into something, you refer to the police.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And a lot of times we will see things in the private sector that the law enforcement community won't see because we're in closer and we're in deeper.
Right.
And we're focused on one thing rather than public protection.
Right,
like
right.
The
And
police
then,
are.
and when you get to talk to somebody, they have more confidence. You know, sometimes when I worked at juvenile division, I worked in plain clothes, went into the schools because police would go into in uniform, but now they changed it. They got a policeman assigned but before the principals didn't want policemen to come in there in uniform because it looked like, I don't know, whatever, why they didn't want uniformed police officers in there. But there was more confidence when we interview them talking about something when you're there.
Well,
plain
people
clothes.
are impressed when they hear you're a private eye. They see so much movie stuff,
Yeah,
so
well,
much TV
yeah.
stuff, and you know that's not
It's
true.
not. All right, tell me the difference between the movies and reality.
Biggest difference is in the movies it's action, 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 action,
Yeah, yeah,
action.
yeah.
In reality, it's waiting.
Right. I know one time we were the drug thing over in the other, I think it was over in Upper Marion or something. We're looking at this guy, and we were sitting in the back of a car, you know, for 4 hours waiting for somebody to come out of that, hiding well, it was a van, like, you know, and nothing sensational about that, you know.
No, but that's the important part of the
Right.
job is the
Right.
waiting.
Right. So you just can't go over and knock on a guy's door and say, look, I'm investigating. You know, you have to wait.
You have to be a little more subtle than that.
Yeah, and then when he comes walking out with all the drugs, then we make an apprehension. You know?
Exactly.
So, but you know, but this different hours, working different hours and that, you never know when.
You never know. We get a call that this big movie star, this big politician is about to fly into Philadelphia tomorrow.
Yeah.
And they need us to take them to a restaurant. They need us to take them. They're going to speak at a school, do this, do that. And we have to be ready and put a squad together at a moment's notice.
Yeah. Huh. And who are some of the couple of people that you've had to escort or what?
Well,
Fall off, did it?
as much as our job is to protect their safety, the biggest part of our job is to protect their privacy. And so I really can't give you names.
Okay.
I'll give you one name, the Pope.
Oh, yeah, when he came here.
2 years ago, when the Pope was in town,
Yeah.
our job was to protect him, to protect some of the high-ranking cardinals from South America
Right.
and from South Africa. And Jerry Seinfeld. There's another name I can give because I don't think Jerry's coming back soon.
Yeah.
But folks that we do on a regular basis, we don't give their names out.
Yeah. Well, you know, one time, celebrities, people like to take some of their clothing or necktie or something, you know, as a souvenir of some kind.
Well, that's an important part, that you protect people
Right.
from people who love you as much as you
Yeah.
protect them from
Yeah.
people who hate
And
you.
And I remember one time I was a stablemate of Rocky Marciano, the heavyweight champ of the world. And we were in a car with my manager, Al Wheel, and Charlie Goldman, and myself and Rocky Marciano. We were over in Newark, New Jersey. So we had us in the car, and we stopped to get some gas, and the guy was pumping the gas. Oh, it's Rocky Marciano. I like to punch the champion. I can say a punch, and he takes a shot. He wants to hit him now. I said, so celebrities are, sometimes a target.
They're always a target because as much as people love them, there are people with some emotional problems, some psychological problems that love them too much or hate them for no reason at all.
Yeah.
And we have to be aware of that. We really have to assess things and deal with them as they come up and hopefully prevent them before they come up.
Well, one time when I was with the Northtown Police, we got a guy that I think he had a little mental problem, and there was the Today Show. I think it was a Today Show, and this guy was in love with this one of the ladies that was on the Today Show, and he said he was going to go kill her and everything. And we still had to notify them that this guy was a wacko. He's going to come in the studio, So that we had to get the right people and the right.
You need people
path.
that blend in. You need people that
Right.
can be next to them and not be seen.
Right. Well, they have a tough life. Sometimes they're a pain in the neck, though. They're getting involved with politics and everything. I don't like that. I think that I wonder if you're a movie actor or something like, stay in your profession. Don't. Whatever. I don't want to talk
No,
politics.
that's a different topic altogether.
But then again, you have to talk a little bit because of when you're in law enforcement. Now, tell me a little bit. Traveling. How about traveling? How does that work?
A lot of times we'll have somebody so important that we have a motorcade.
Yeah.
2 or 3 or more SUVs with 2 or 3 security guys in each SUV in addition to the celebrity or the VIP. And you have to learn how to drive in motorcade style.
Yeah.
How to go 60 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour, forward and in reverse.
Oh, okay. But how about airplanes or anything?
Airplanes is usually one person because in the airplane you're safe. You have people meeting you on this side, you have people taking you on that side. So if we travel with a celebrity on an airplane, there's usually just one of us.
Do you, if you investigate, do you have the power to arrest, to take them in custody?
We have the same power that any citizen has, a citizen's arrest. But we don't use it. If there's a reason to arrest somebody, we call the police, we call the federal law enforcement, we call the right authorities. It's not our job to arrest.
Yeah. I think that the sheriffs have the same problem. They can do an apprehension and everything, but they can't make the arrest or so.
Well, their
Something-
jurisdiction is limited to court matters. We don't really have a jurisdiction. Our job is to investigate.
Yeah.
Our job is to protect. Our job
Okay.
is not to arrest. We can certainly
Get the information, compile the information.
we can detain somebody if somebody is pointing a gun at our client.
Yeah, all right.
We're certainly going to
Actually,
grab
yeah.
them and hold them down.
Right.
But that's not a legal arrest. We're just detaining them until a police officer comes along.
Well, I know when I was a county detective, we had to go pick up a prisoner or so that was wanted. Maybe we have, I remember cases went to Marion, Illinois, where that's the prison where when they closed Alcatraz, they opened that one, and when the airline tells us if we're going to go in that plane, we have to tell the pilot ahead of time that we're armed.
Of course.
And then we have to get in the plane first and then get out last. And then when we get the prisoner, we have to tell him we got a prisoner. Now, the pilot, he can turn around and refuse to let us on that plane because he have a gun. And he don't want us if we have prisoners. He can do it. He has that power to do it.
And that was before 9/11. Today, things are 100 times tougher.
Yeah, well, I don't know. So what we do is when we get the prisoner, we put him close to the window, and then we sit here.
Yeah, so
so
he's
we're
not
in
moving.
first, and then we're
Out
and then
first.
we're in out last, And then I think it was in Florida, big airport in Florida, that we had the juveniles handcuffed. That was two state policemen, myself. We had to take 3 juveniles. We had to bring them back, and they were handcuffed. So we're walking through the airport. All of a sudden, the security goes, "No, you can't come here with handcuffs." So I said, "Look, they'll run away on us." So what happened? What we did? We got their coats and put them over there and walked in there.
Well, the trick is to be on the same page, to communicate with
yes.
everybody so there are no surprises later on.
And then when I flew into Chicago, we had it at the Ozark Airline.
One of the big ones.
All right. And we got to go to the plane, and they had to tell them that we're armed. And we had to surrender our guns. And I said, "I'm not going to surrender my gun." And this other pilot said, "Well, they're not going on a plane." So I resisted. I said, "I'm not going to give up my gun." Next thing you know, policeman came over, says, "Hank, that is the way it is here. You have to do it." So he gets a box. I put the gun in there. Okay, fly. We went into Marion, Illinois, and box. We got our gun as we were there. But it's different things. It's a lot of problems. They don't want you to shoot that gun in no circumstances.
No. And you
God,
don't,
you know,
you don't want to
wires
shoot,
in,
you
the whole
don't want
plane
to
will go
shoot that
down.
gun either. Nothing good comes from shooting a gun.
Yeah. Well, I use the gun the last resort. So, how long you been doing this?
I've been doing this for 10 years. This division at Echelon just started about a year ago. We finally
What's the name of the company?
Echelon Protection
What's that
and
mean,
Surveillance.
Echelon?
It means the best.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I never used that word, the best.
We're elite. We're a squad. I'm not saying we are the best.
Benissimo.
Yeah.
Why don't they say benissimo? That means great, nice, beautiful.
Because we already had a lot of uniforms and hats with the letters E, P, and S on them.
Oh.
So we said, we're going to be Echelon Protection and Surveillance.
Oh.
And we are one of the largest companies here in Montgomery County.
Oh.
We have a couple hundred officers and agents that work with us.
Yeah. And then, now you mentioned that
Yeah.
a lot of retired servicemen, police officers and all, and they come in on that investigation. And that, a good background.
It's a wonderful background because you know the guys who come from the military, guys who come from law enforcement, guys who come from firefighting, come with maturity, they come with discipline.
Right.
They come with the ability to work as a team, they come with the ability to work independently. These are the kind of men and women that you want working with you.
Do you help fire marshals when there's an investigation on an arson or something like that?
We don't, because that is an actual crime, and we do not get involved in ongoing criminal investigations.
Ah.
The only time we'd get involved in criminal investigations is after someone was convicted. We might be involved with them in the sentencing process,
Okay.
but we certainly don't get involved in active criminal cases.
Well, now, we're in Norristown High School. These students here now are going to be going into college and everything, and maybe they want to prepare themselves for law enforcement. And this is, like I said, there's different levels. And what would be a good thing for them to prepare themselves to be investigator? I guess to be able to read and write.
Oh, that never hurts.
Right.
That
Well,
never
what are
hurts.
some of the things to prepare themselves? So first, don't get in trouble.
That's number one.
Right.
Or don't get in any trouble that you can't get out of later on.
Yeah.
None of us, or very few of us who do this for a living, came from the seminary. I mean, all of us came from some kind of wild and wacky
Yeah,
childhood.
right.
Because you don't learn how to deal with bad people unless there's a little bit of bad in you. You have
Right,
to...
got a little bit of, yeah. Now, I was born in Brooklyn,
Yeah.
and then when I became a professional boxer, I went to New York and I worked in Stillman's gym. And a lot of black and white movies you see today about boxing or anything, the scenes were in the Stillman's gym. And I remember my manager, Charlie Goldman, my trainer, Charlie Goldman, told me, he says, see that guy over there? Yeah. He says, he just got out of jail. See that guy over there? Yeah, he gets, and, oh my God, but you never know who you're talking to or who you're associating with. So
Well,
you
I
gotta
don't
be
want to go
careful.
into a big story, but the reason that I got into law enforcement, the reason I wanted to become a cop 44 years ago, was I always wanted to sit in the front seat of the police car. I knew what the back seat.
You want to use, you want to ride shotgun.
Yeah, I knew what the back seat felt like.
Yeah,
I was very
yeah.
familiar with that. I wanted
Yeah,
to
you
see
know,
what it felt like to be up front.
Yeah, I remember Philadelphia police. They asked me to speak down there about juvenile or so, and then they said they wanted me to drive with one of the police cars at night and around Philadelphia to get the feel of what the difference in Philadelphia. And I had to sign a paper and all in reference to
If you get
security
killed,
and all.
yeah.
Yeah, so you go, I don't get there. And then I was at a seminar up in Penn State or someplace, and they had all these here policemen, the small towns and around the Lancaster and around that there, Pennsylvania Dutch, and they don't have too much going on up there. So the professor says, tell me some of the crime that you had to investigate. The one guy says, well, you'd be surprised how much they steal in hubcaps. So, yeah, everybody, he made a big thing about it. So this guy from Philadelphia goes, well, they steal the whole car. They don't steal the hubcaps,
I have to tell you, coming from Philadelphia,
Yeah.
we once had to bring a prisoner back from Compton in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And we arrive at the airport in Los Angeles, and the Los Angeles cops meet us and say, we're taking you to Compton. This is the worst neighborhood in Los Angeles. Be prepared. We get to Compton. There's single houses, there's palm trees, there's lawns. They're nicer than the houses that we were living in Philadelphia. So everything is relative.
Oh, yeah.
Everything is relative.
Yeah. I know we had to take a prisoner back from one of the federal prisons, and before we turned him over, they had to search him, and I mean, internally and
Inside
everything,
and out, yeah.
everything to make sure that when I get him, I don't have any drugs inside of him or hidden here or hidden there. And then, like I say, you have to get your car, you have to the rental, drive him here, make sure he's handcuffed. You know, the county sends you out there, the district attorney sends you out there to pick this guy up, and then he runs away on you, and you come home empty, you're
Not
out of a
good.
job.
Not good.
You know, so it's very important and that you know, that you do the right thing. But we always had 2 against 1. If it was 2, always just, if it was the state police had to involved with the case, there was. Go ahead. I don't want to be all talking. Tell me more about your
I'm
job.
fascinated with you. We never go into detail of less than 4 guys. And again, I say guys, 4 people. It could be men, it could be women.
Yeah.
So there's always 4 of us
Yeah.
at a minimum. Sometimes there's 10 of us.
Wow. Yeah.
And anywhere in between, because safety
Well,
is the #1 priority.
When you're investigation, sometimes you have to use the women to do the questioning because they'll maybe have more confidence at spilling the beans to her than you. You know,
You have to be able to relate to people. You have to
Right.
be able to feel that they're on your side. And you use the best people to get the job done.
yeah. I know when I was juvenile, I had three guys. One guy, he had a Fu Manchu mustache, and the other guy now was older than all these, my 3 officers. And so we're going to question the kid, juvenile. You know, like I was a bad guy, the good guy. What do they say? The
Yeah,
good cop, the bad cop.
cop.
You know, and they would, you know, have more confidence. They say, "Oh, I don't know, that's Cisco," you know, but I'll tell you, but I won't tell him. Oh, go ahead, I don't care. You know?
Well, people have seen enough TV shows where they know things like good cop,
Yeah.
bad cop.
Yeah. Well, it's a whole lot different, you know.
What they're looking for is
They got-
good
yeah, they got all
human
these-
beings. And if you're a good
Yeah.
human being, if you relate to people, they relate back to you.
Yeah. So, but I say that crime today, it's a whole different ball game as far as drugs. Like when I first started in 1951, Norristown, I didn't know anything about drugs. What do I do on drugs? The only thing I knew was a drugstore, aspirins and whatever. And the only thing is Norristown high school kids and Plymouth, Bishop McDevitt, and all them other football games and all, you know, we had some problems, you know. And they were sniffing glue then. That was a big thing, and you know, oh boy. And and then they'd have a paper bag, and then they sniffing glue, and they were gonna. And this one kid, he worked at Gennardi's Market, and one day he was putting the things on the shelf, and he had a jar of oregano, you know, the kind you put on the zest.
I see where this is going already.
And it looks just like marijuana. So he looks, you know, next thing you know, he made little plastic bags and he was selling for $5. You know? I mean, you know, you never know what the story is, but I don't want to say some of the things, maybe they'll get some ideas and use them all.
Whatever
But
you
these
can think of,
things-
they've thought of it already.
Yeah, but it's pretty aware. Now, I think the students are getting, I'm so proud that I come into Norristown High School and I don't see any graffiti or anything there. And I've traveled quite a few states and different places. And I always ask the police officer in that town, when I was working juvenile, take me around a little bit. I want to see some of the schools. Oh my God, you see all kind of graffiti and everything, you know. So I'm proud of, even though sometimes say Norristown's this and Norristown's that, but where's the county seat?
Yeah. And the teachers care, the administrators care, and the students care.
Right,
And
right.
that makes all the difference in the world.
That means a lot, yeah. And when I first started in Norristown, all the teachers all lived in Norristown, most of them, you know, and they all walk to school now. Now they all
Not
got
that way
cars and
anymore.
everything. So, all right. Now, anything else going on? what's on the front burner now?
Well, by the time this show airs, we will already have provided protection for the upcoming, which will be passed already, American Cancer Society Making Strides Against Breast Cancer Walk. Our company is one of the big sponsors. We provide all the security, we protect the money, we protect the people, we protect the goods, and we are honored that this is the 4th year in a row, because it's right here in Norristown High School, that we will have protected and served
Oh, yeah?
all the hundreds and hundreds of cancer
okay.
survivors and people who love
Yeah.
them.
All right, well, okay, now maybe, when does that start?
Well, it's tomorrow. So
Oh,
by the
well,
time
too late
this
now.
airs, it will be
But your
a lot
wife
of
is involved in
yesterdays.
that too, isn't she?
Yeah, my wife is now a 6-year breast cancer survivor. She's very big in the local branch of the American Cancer Society, Making Strides Against Breast Cancer, and she'd love to come on the show one
Well,
day.
we'll have her on there. You know, I guess I'm a survivor too. I have cancer, prostate cancer, colon cancer. Over here, I had cancer over there. Where else? A couple other things, you know. So, and I'm 93. I'm still bobbing and weaving. 2 hip replacements. So forget about it. Just keep bobbing and weaving and keep your trunks off the canvas. Is that it, John?
Only the good die young.
Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you. Our
Thank you
half
for
hour
having
is
me.
over, and may God bless each and every one. I'm sorry that we're running overtime, but I'll have your wife on here.
Okay.
I want to talk about cancer because
Good.
I interviewed a doctor, and she says there's more cancer in the southeastern part of Pennsylvania than any place in the United States. We're going to talk about that when your wife comes on the show.
And when
Okay?
she comes on, you won't get a word in
Okay,
edgewise.
thank you, and may God bless each and every one. Keep bobbing and weaving, left hand high, stick and move, and keep your trunks off the canvas.
Thank you, Hank.
Okay, adios, amigos.
Senjan.
Bye.